Welcome, comadres and friends. I am Maria Ferrer, Director of Programs for the Las Comadres para las Américas. The leadership team and I are pleased to have you join us for tonight's teleconference as we celebrate our book club's quinceañero. It has been a privilege to support Latino authors throughout these many years, and we look forward to the next 15. We also would like to extend a warm welcome to readers following us on our live Twitter chat. Tonight, please help us welcome authors Julissa Arce and Tania de Regil. Author Alex Segura was supposed to be interviewed tonight about his book, Secret Identity, but unfortunately he is not feeling well. We will do his interview at a later time and upload it to the Las Comadres YouTube channel for all to hear. Before we start the interviews, a few housekeeping notes. Please keep yourselves on mute. You may keep your videos on. We suggest you put yourselves on speaker mode, but gallery works just as well. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat and we will try to get to them. But first, let's start with a little bit of our book club's history. Comadre Tess?
Hi, everyone. I'm Tess Tobin, submissions coordinator for the book club. Our first book club gathering was in July 2004 in New York in Comadre Maria Ferrer's apartment. After our hiatus, Norma Comstock re-envisioned and relaunched the book club nationwide to promote the work of Latino authors to every book lover, to bring our community to bookstores, and to support our writers. We started our teleconferences in October of 2006. We are in our 15th year of sharing works by Latino authors with all of you. We created the teleconferences and book club to entice everyone to read more Latino authors and to learn about Latino roots and the different perspectives on Latino culture and heritage. Our book club and teleconferences are open to all, not just Latinos. We are creating a space for everyone to explore the Latino writer's mind and soul as portrayed through the written word. We encourage you to join our local book club in your city or time zone. We have clubs in 12 cities that are meeting virtually. There is sure to be one that can fit your schedule. If your city doesn't have one, why not help us start one? For more information, our book club, visit our website at latinolit.com. So please invite others to join us. Comadre Karen?
Welcome, comadres and friends, to our September 2022 Zoom teleconference. I'm Karen Gonzalez, Assistant Coordinator for the Las Comadres and Friends Book Club, Denver Comadres Book Club Facilitator, and co-founder of the Colorado Alliance of Latino Mentors and Authors. Thank you for joining us tonight. Tonight, we will begin our interview in honor of Grandparents' Day. We will interview Tania de Regil, the author and illustrator of A New Home and the illustrator of We Really Do Care by Tammy Lewis Brown. She studied fashion design at Parsons School of Design in New York City and finished her studies in her home country of Mexico. Her work as a costume designer in film and television has helped her to better grasp the art of storytelling through images. Something About Grandma is inspired by her own childhood memories of staying with her grandmother. Tania lives in Mexico City. Interviewing Tania is Tania Soleil, who lives in California and has been a comadre for 10 years. She is the grandmother of two gorgeous little girls, Isela and Meni, whom she enjoys playing games with and reading to them often. Comadre Tania, take it away.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hello, Tania.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet everyone.
As some of you have seen, my granddaughters were around. I had expected to come in a bit later. So yes, they are an intrinsic part of my life. So I was very excited to read your book. We understand you wrote the book and did the illustrations. Is that more advantageous when pitching and selling the novel?
I guess so, because it's always more personal when you get to do the writing and the illustrations. So it's like the whole book is yours. So yeah, I think it's a little bit of an advantage.
So is this semi-autobiographical, let's say? Where do you get your ideas about Abuela? Is that from your grandmother? And in a sense, what inspired this book?
Yeah, I had a wonderful relationship with my grandmothers, both of them. But I think especially my mom's mom. She was always there for me. And I think grandmas are so, so special. And my mom is now also a grandmother. It's also inspired by my mom because she's now a grandmother too. And she's just the most wonderful grandmother. And the most exciting thing about this book is that, well, when I was writing it, when I was illustrating it, I got pregnant as well. So it all became very emotional for me. I had a son, and I just see like his relationship with my mom, and it just makes everything much more special for me.
So to be honest, in reviewing the book, I was, intrigued about the story about going home to Grandma summers. I certainly did that, not every year, but very often. And, hope to have that experience with my granddaughters on the other end. But I was a little bit surprised about the kind of surprise at the end, if you wish, about hiding a new baby. I just, wouldn't that cause resentment or jealousy?
No, I mean, I don't think it was hiding it. I mean, I'm sure, obviously, Julia knew her mom was pregnant. It's just, just to make things easier for mom and dad with the new baby and everything. I think she would be happier with grandma. And I think that's what happened when I was born. My brother stayed with my grandmother, and he just loved her so much that he was just really comfortable, and my mom didn't have to worry about anything. So that's a little bit inspired by also my idea of how things happened in my life. So yeah, I wasn't hiding it. It was just, going away on a summer to have a really great time with grandma.
Well, we really like how the book was released both in English and in Spanish simultaneously. Can you tell us why that is important to you as an author and for us as readers?
Well, it's obviously important for me because I'm from Mexico. So my first language is Spanish. And obviously there's so many Spanish language people in the US that I think it's so important to have both languages now, and I think, Spanish should be taught in all schools now. Well, that's just my idea. Like here in Mexico, they teach English. I think the US should start teaching Spanish and I think it's, we are countries that we're just neighbors, and we're so close by that it's, for Mexico, we have to learn English because, that's the way it is. So I think it should be wonderful if that was for the US as well. So for me to have this book come out in Spanish was a dream come true because I was able to write it in both languages myself. So that was a huge honor.
So you talked a little bit, or I asked you a question about the illustrations. So what was your background in illustrating, or what was your experience there?
For this book?
No, were you trained? Where were you trained? How did that whole illustrator side of you develop?
Oh, that's a very long story, but I didn't actually study illustration because in Mexico, there's no such major in illustration. There's only like fine arts. So when I went to study in the US, I didn't even know there was a major in illustration. So that didn't even cross my mind. I actually studied fashion design because I just loved art and I wanted to do anything related to art or anything related to design. And I had done a little bit of fashion in high school. So that was like, I'm going to study fashion design. At the end, I didn't like it as much. And I ended up deciding that, you know, after living in the US, and then I saw that illustration was a possibility to, as a career. I just thought, you know, I've always loved children's books. Children's books have always been my life. So why not do that? And I just started studying on my own, took classes on the internet and stuff like that. And that's how I learned all about illustrating children's books. And now I'm very, very lucky to have been published.
And we hear that, in fact, you've got the opportunity to collaborate with Chelsea Clinton.
Yes.
Welcome to the Big Kids Club.
Yes, that was an amazing experience for me. It was while I was doing this book, they came to me and they were like, do you want to do a book with Chelsea? And I usually don't do 2 books at a time because it's a lot of time consuming, but it was Chelsea Clinton. So I was like, of course I have to do it. I mean, I cannot not do it. So, you know, it was a lot of work. I was pregnant, I was tired all the time, but I did it and it was just fabulous.
So how many books have you illustrated?
Well, illustrated books, 5 books in total. And as writer and illustrator, 3 books, 1 in Mexico and 2 in the US.
Very nice. And so what are you working on now?
Well, I took a little bit time off because my son was born and he doesn't let me do anything. But I'm starting to develop a new story. It's a little bit early because I just have like an idea. I don't have a story yet, so there's not a lot I can share before they say like, yeah, let's do this book. So so yeah.
And that could be like, you know, for some of the people who are watching this, something of interest. You know, do you feel that you write the whole book before you take it to a publisher, or do you usually get the suggestion from the publisher or direction as you're writing from the publisher?
No, I pretty much have like my idea and my story, and then I show it to the publisher, and we work on it together. So it's like a collaboration. That's the wonderful thing about writing books. It's a collaboration with many people, not just the writer by themselves. So for Something About Grandma, the first idea was totally different. And the first idea was actually a little girl who finds out that her grandmother is a fabulous witch. And we worked on that, and they were like, you know, witch, yeah, we like it, there's magic, but you know, we both thought that witch was like a very powerful word. You know, if you say witch, I think all of you will automatically get a picture in your head of what a witch should look like or what they should act like. So I didn't go with that idea. And I was like, no, I don't think just witches should be magic. I think there's magic in our everyday lives. So in the end, I was like, okay, she doesn't have to be a witch. She's just grandma. That's what makes her so special. And that's what makes her so magical.
So you have...
Oh, I didn't hear the question.
Tanya, we didn't hear your question.
I think she's having problems with her because she's here. It's probably the internet connection. We're sorry.
You know, there is a question in the chat, Tanya. Somebody wanted to know, was there any resistance in getting the book published in Spanish? and English? I mean, did you write, well, first of all, did you write it in English or Spanish? And then the other thing is, how did you publish how did you get it published in 2 languages? I guess that's the question.
Oh, well, I worked with Candlewick, and Candlewick is just amazing. I love them so much. This is actually my 2nd book with them. And the first book, I actually have it here. This is the first book I did with them, A New Home. This is the one that actually got everything started with working with them. So they were starting to see how important it was to also have books in Spanish, because they obviously know that it's a very big market. There are a lot of people who speak Spanish, and there's also a lot of interest in people who it's not their first language, but they want to learn about Spanish language. So automatically they were like, we love your story. We want to make it in English, and we want to make it simultaneously in Spanish. So when I heard that, that was like, wow, I can't believe you're saying that, because I wanted to do something like that. But obviously I didn't think that was possible, or I didn't know if it was possible. So it was all about them. They were like, we want to do this. And with this book, with the 2nd book, it was just, we're going to do it in English and Spanish, just like the first book. So yeah, Candlewick is just fabulous.
Good. So did you write it in Spanish or did you write it in English?
Oh, yeah. So I think for Something About Grandma, I read a lot of Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Carlos Fuentes, a lot of Spanish speaking authors. So I think this book in particular, because I tend to write it in both English or Spanish, just my mind thinks in both languages when I'm writing. But this one in particular, I think I started thinking about it in Spanish, and just because of the poetic language, but you know, obviously I have to do it in English as well, so I translated it.
Good, very good. I enjoyed the books also, and I have grandchildren, and I've read the book to them, and they thought it was very touching. Thank you so much.
That's so nice to hear.
Okay, so I guess, do you want to read a little bit from the book? So I don't know what happened to Tanya, but we can have you read from the book if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah. I can read. Sorry about my light seems to be going on and off, but I think so. Just tell me if you can see clearly.
Yeah.
Okay. So do you want me to read the whole book or just?
No, just a part maybe. You know, I don't think we have time for the whole book.
Okay.
But if you just, I don't know, any special part that you like?
Let's
or
see.
A page with a really nice illustration. I'm sure they're all beautiful. You can
well, I can read up to a certain part.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, so here it is, Something About Grandma. I'm really bad at turning pages, so bear with me.
No worries.
Okay. One early morning in July, Grandma arrived from a long way away with a suitcase in hand. She was there to take Julia for their first summer together without Mom and Dad. Grandma lived outside of Mexico City in a town cuddled against a great mountain. At the foot of the mountain was a cobblestone street lined with ash trees, and at the end of the street, a pink bougainvillea crawled over a little old house, Grandma's house. The back door of the house led to a shrubby garden where Grandma grew lavender, jasmine, daisies, pink geraniums, and purple orchids, lime, plum, and orange trees, and a great big jacaranda tree.
Yeah, beautiful.
At Grandma's, everything seemed different and everything was new to Julia. In the morning, Grandma bought sweet sugary bread from a woman who carried it in a basket on top of her head. And in the afternoon, Grandma picked herbs from the garden and stirred them into one big pot that simmered and steamed. There was something about this place, Julia thought, where the sunset skies were filled with birdsong and the warm breeze was sweet like jasmine. And there was definitely something about Grandma too. Grandma seemed to know everything, like when Julia snuck into the garden to pick daisies and limes. Grandma could also see into the future. She could always tell if Julia was about to fall when she went too fast on her bike. And Grandma had many secrets. Every night, they sat quietly in the garden terrace and wrote things down in a notebook by the light of the moon and the stars. One day, a letter from Mom and Dad arrived, and that's when Julia realized just how much she missed her home. Luckily, Grandma knew just what to do. And I think I can stop there.
Okay. So
and then it's, you get to see how magical Grandma is.
very good. Let me see, there's a question in the chat. Let's see. It says, love the sweet premise for the book, especially that there are English and Spanish versions. I don't have grandkids, but bought the English version for special needs young adult. I will also buy the Spanish version as she is bilingual and will love them. Very good.
Oh,
well,
thank you.
I'm so sorry for all the technical issues we've had tonight, but we're very happy that you joined us, and we hope everyone will buy your book, and good luck on your next project.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Maria?
All right, I'm going to change my background.
Oh, hi, Nora.
It's actually Nora.
Hi, Nora.
Hello. Well, I must say it has been an eventful night in all directions. Really, I hardly know what to say. The gremlins really went to work tonight to take care of all our authors. All right, so, oops. I lost my script. Let me find it again for just a quick second here. So our thanks to Tanya de Regil and Candlewick Press for their generous donation of books to our early registrants. Tanya, it was a pleasure to have you here again. I remember the last time when we talked about your first book, and it was a joy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I always enjoy talking with Las Comadres.
Oh, yeah. And when I saw your name, I knew that it was going to be, and just giving you an opportunity to flip through the book like you did, that was, that was special. So thank you so much. And also thanks to Tanya, who really tried very hard to do this interview, and to Tess for finishing it for her. And we thank our audience for taking the time to join us tonight. And to those that submitted questions, we'd like to thank all our volunteers without whom this book club and all the associated work wouldn't happen. Mil gracias to all of you. Please remember to support our authors by writing a review of their books on sites like Amazon, Goodreads, Barnes & Noble, and others. Those reviews, they carry weight with the publishers as well as with other readers. Buy books you want to read, and if the library doesn't, ask the library to order it if they don't have it. And please attend your virtual book club meetings and bring a friend or two. or your local book club meeting if y'all are meeting in person. I know some of the groups are. And what I want to say is I know that in Austin, for example, the members of our book club have become such close friends. They do many, many things together. They go to art museums, they travel to see exhibits. I mean, they do. So it's much more than about books, but it all started with books, and it is a major part of their friendship. Our book club is open to men and women, Latinos and not Latinos, and all are welcome. Our October books are The Night by Rodrigo Blanco Calderon, Breathe and Count Back from 10 by our very own comadre Natalia Sylvester. Again, thank you all for your continued support to our book club and Latino literature. And please join us in celebrating our quinceañera throughout the year by buying books and supporting Latino authors. And Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, which really Happy Hispanic, can't even say it anymore. Happy Hispanic Heritage every day. Good night, and always read Latino Lit. I hope you have a good night.
Thank you. Good night, everyone.